All right, I will call to order at 5:30 p.m. August 19th hearing of the Hood River Planning Commission. My name is Mark Frost, Chair of the Planning Commission. Let me start with a description of tonight's process and a few disclosures. So I'll run through these pretty quickly just to save your time. The Planning Commission role is to review the record for tonight's hearing, take testimony, and determine if the application meets the approval criteria. It is not our job to be more restrictive or lenient than the standards allow, but rather interpret and apply the standards as written. We are required to render an impartial decision. That means we cannot have a personal stake, financial stake, or bias that would prevent us from making an impartial decision. Before I will begin, I will ask for the disclosure of bias, ex parte contacts, and conflicts of interest from each commissioner, and disclose in anyone in attendance will have the opportunity to question commissioners about their disclosures. Once the commission issues its final decision, it is final unless appealed to City Council. To appeal the decision, you must participate either orally or in writing before the record closes. You must raise any issues and present evidence you wish us to preserve for an appeal to the City Council or the Land Use Board of Appeals. Once we close the record, that will end your ability to raise new issues or present evidence. Now we will consider file number 2024-18, an amendment to the Pear Tree PUD. Let me describe the order of events for tonight's hearing. First, we will hear from staff, then the applicant, then anyone wishing to testify on the hearing. Once we hear the testimony, the applicant will have the final rebuttal and the opportunity to answer questions. After everyone has had a chance to testify, we will close the record, deliberate, and render a decision tonight. Our decision, however, is not final until it is reduced to writing and officially issued. Here are some rules for presenting testimony in tonight's hearing. First, only present testimony when called. 2, begin with your name and mailing address. 3, limit your testimony to the applicable approval criteria. So that is the procedural introduction for tonight's hearing. Any questions? Quorum of the Planning Commission is present. I will ask the commissioners to disclose any ex parte contacts, conflicts of interest, and bias in this matter. So with you.
No ex parte communication, no bias or conflict of interest.
I have none.
I am an adjacent property owner to the property. I own the apartment building, which is directly to the north of it. I'm a 50% owner. It's in an LLC. I did not get the notice. I did not attend any neighborhood meetings. I have had some contact with the applicant. We have some trees which are shared between our property, which we agreed to have removed. I have not talked to them about this application. I don't believe that I have any bias or conflict of interest.
Okay. Mark Frost, I have none. So would anybody wish to challenge the commissioners or bias, conflict of interest? All right, seeing none, we shall move forward with the staff report, please.
Chair, this is for the proposed modification to plan unit development, 2006-39.
Your microphone on?
I'll say that again. This is for a proposed modification to a previously approved planned unit development file 2006-39 for the addition of a deck on the northeast home. The proposed modification is to remove condition 1 included by the Planning Commission in the original PUD decision, which required a 26-foot setback to the east property line that was only applied to the house on the northeast corner of the PUD. In reviewing the original decision and minutes from the Planning Commission meeting, there was no other additional information on why the 26-foot setback was applied and included to this lot. During the initial PUD review for this modification, and for this one and this current review, it still meets all the criteria, and there's no 26-foot setback included within the code anywhere. So there's no conflict with that or any open space requirement because it's still on the lot itself. So with that in mind, staff has recommended approval of the modification to remove the 26-foot setback, which would allow for the construction of the deck on the east side of that home, pending building permit approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Thank you. All right. May I call the applicants or the applicants? Yeah.
Evening, I am Attorney Doug Powery, applicant in this case for owner Diane Rose. And basically, we accept everything that has been put into the report. We stand by to answer questions, but we're looking for a motion to approve.
Appreciate that. Any questions for applicants? We're happy you came, thank you. Sorry to be in your way. All right, with that, we will open up for any questions. Is there anyone on the line? Anyone else?
Just for the record, we received no comments during the public noticing period, so we are not surprised no one has joined us online. But there's been no applicant, or there's been no notice responses
Okay.
to be included.
All right, so then I will jump to staff recap. Anything else to say?
I think we covered it all.
Okay. With that, I'm going to close the hearing. And we will deliberate. Anybody want to lead us off? I'm sorry, this is not. It's what we need to do. It is not a laughing matter, but we know why we're here.
Yes. I think that this is a pretty straightforward situation that does not require me to deliberate on anything personally.
Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Should we, at least have a discussion, we're having a hearing. Because. One of them doesn't explain that to everyone, so we at least are clear.
So-
We don't do this for no reason.
No, I mean, I think if I can state what I think where we're at is that the PUD decided to make some. Sort of conditions around the siting of the property and the buildings. And maintaining open space. And essentially this one residence with 26-foot setback has slightly more setback than is required, not slightly, a lot more setback than is required by the underlying code. And for whatever reason, it was back then, to do with privacy or sightlines and those types of things, but at this time, there doesn't seem to be a reason to enforce those setback requirements. The open space requirements continue.
Yeah, I guess the original process and PUD was a quasi judicial process, so we had to have a hearing, all of that. Because we were amending that, and I don't know if it's an amendment that's major enough that was determined that you had to come to us, or that any amendment would have to come to us, wasn't Dustin just comments so everybody knows?
Yeah, a major modification of the PUD requires quasi judicial change. To such an extent to remove the condition of approval and change the setback required it to come to the planning commission. In this instance, the applicant approached staff for a permit to construct the deck, which on its face was in conflict with the 26-foot setback that was established by condition 1 of the PUD. So we were unable to issue a permit. That 26-foot, although it's a part of the PUD, was not, in our findings, necessary to uphold or enact a specific code criteria as a part of the code. So therefore, its amendment is a discretionary act, and therefore a land use approval, a land use request set by the planning commission, in this instance to be amended by planning commission in a duly noticed public hearing to be attended by you all. So thank you all for the time and the opportunity to do this in public. It is a relatively straight ahead request. However, this is the tool to do the job.
Okay. Thanks. How about if I make a motion that we approve file number 2024-18 with the conditions as written?
We have a motion on the floor to approve 2024-18 with the condition to approve the that are written. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right. And with that, I will, any further questions? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Sure. Votes aye, motion passes. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
I appreciate it.
Good luck with
Yeah.
your project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will draft a planning commission order for your signature. It will then be reduced to writing, appeal time, and then we'll move that. As one participating party, really, city council or the applicant are the only two people that can appeal this.
All right, with that, any further business?
We do have minutes that were included in your packet that are available. We have a couple copies of them if you would like to look at them. However, we're looking for a motion to approve 2 sets of minutes.
I don't see those. I did look at them. They were attached somewhere, but I did not. So.
We could push them if you haven't had an opportunity to review. Nothing's holding them up.
That's my email. I don't remember seeing that. Sorry.
Okay, we can hold them then on your next meeting, which I assume will be in October. Based on the applications that are coming in now.
Okay.
So we can push those, nothing's waiting on them.
Oh, see.
And then on other notice and other business, we currently have an open position for a member, former Commissioner Ben was appointed by City Council at a regularly scheduled meeting to fill the position of Tim Cunahan. So the remaining time that Cunahan had will be filled by Ben. So we do have an advertisement out in the public for a planning commission vacancy to be filled. If you have anyone who you're interested or has spoke to you about interest in the opportunity, let me know. I'd be happy to send you a packet and materials. Other than that, we have nothing else.
Is that like an informational packet that answers questions that they might have or just?
It's an application packet. It has some information, but if you have anyone who's even remotely interested, I'd be happy to chat with them about great opportunities to serve.
Cool.
And you also serve as great resources. I mean, you sit in the chair, so you have your first person experience is the great truth of what it means to serve.
Okay, all right, we good with that?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:44 PM. Thank you.